Friends, today's NRI Samai program from Los Angeles brought to you commercial free by listeners like you. Your generous donations make possible for us to stay commercial free, and today's show is pre-recorded. If you have a question for the guest, please send an email to nrisamai@gmail.com. We will follow up with the guest and find the answer for you. Thank you for your support.
Thank you, Bhaskarji, for joining us on NRI Samay on this lovely weekend. Really pleasure having you on this show. Sir, actually, you have been an RT activist. So can you actually give us a brief on, how did you become an RT activist? How was your journey? When was it started? And
basically, if you see our Indian way of lifestyle is from the family structure to the governing structure. Everywhere you will find something to be hidden. There is no transparency at all within the family and outside the family or in the governance system, which was a little, I was unable to understand why this is so. Because when you are a child, if you ask some questions, because as a child, all children, they ask questions, but always it is said that you are small, you will come to know when you get a little older. But as the time began, I was also participating in the college student activities, and there also I tried my level best to have transparency within the college administrations and all these matters. So I literally started my journey to be a part of this transparency movement, say from 1985 onwards, going to various meetings, understanding what are the people are doing. Then also was a part of Anna Hazare's way of agitations for getting transparency within the state. And then slowly I came across the various activism that are happening pertaining to empowerment. One of it is right to information, women's empowerment, then right to food, right to having a better lifestyle, and all these type of agitations which were there in Mumbai. I was a part of it. And slowly I concentrated myself in 1998-99 onwards that to get the Right to Information Act in Maharashtra. And I was took a very keen part in getting this in various agitations for getting the Maharashtra Right to Information Act in 2000 and 2002. And continued that journey started me to get the information from the government. And I thought this is the only act which will improve on the better governance, have accountable governance, and there will be a prevention of the corruption activities that go between the bureaucracy and the politicians, and the nexus of these two, the strong community which is there of bureaucracy and the politician, which governs the whole of this country, and to get the information so that people get empowered and they agitate themselves. So this right to information is the only thing that is possible if can be done even by one single person, and that is what is very much required. Otherwise, in Indian context, if you are a part of the group, if you are a part of the political party, if you are part of some NGO, then the people recognize you. But the Right to Information Act is the only one thing where you use it and you are recognized, and you are able to change the system. You are able to control the corrupt practices that happen. That is why I thought that the right to information was very much necessary, and I continued my activism in this Right to Information Act.
That is really true. Yeah, there are so many scams which are unearthed by right to information, and so much transparency and accountability was brought into the system using this. And there are actually there are several RT activists around the country, and all of them are working for the similar cause, which is the transparency in the system.
Yeah.
And we learned that in 2006 you launched Mahiti Adhikar Manch with along with all these RT activists.
Yes, right.
Could you please elaborate on what exactly?
Yes, the thing is that I found that there are various groups of activist groups which are if you see, there are people fighting for their slum dwellers. There are people fighting for women's issues. There are people fighting for getting a better food. There are people fighting for getting better housing and all. But there is not a single group which concentrates only on implementation of the Right to Information Act. Say for anybody may be using Right to Information Act for their own causes, but safeguarding the Right to Information Act, there are very few organizations which are there. So I thought that it is very much required that all the RT activists who are coming together and taking out various camps. The Mahiti Adhikar Manch was launched in 2006, taking into consideration that we will be a group who make use of right to information on their own for the bettering of this the governance, and the group only meets once a month and churns what are the different problems that are coming into the issues of right to information and implementation. So slowly we started to come to know that many of the public authority officers do not know about right to information and its implementation matters. So we are now also training the public information officers and the public authorities how this act needs to be implemented. There was some fear psycho within the public authorities officers who are not trained, but they are by default made the public information officer as per to the designation that they come to. So without knowing about Right to Information Act, many of the officers are appointed as the public information officers, who is the key person for implementation of this Right to Information Act. So we found this lacuna and we tried to remove this vacuum of knowing by the officers what is Right to Information Act by giving trainings to these people, networking with the public authority and allowing us to train these people by taking their due permissions, which many of the public authorities agreed and they have given us the permission to do. The other aspect is that citizens over here also do not know how to make an RTI application. Like they feel that the right to information is something which solve their grievances. But no, it is not a grievance solver. It is that you will be more empowered by getting the information and solve your own grievance by taking that information as a tool for clearing your grievances. So we take a lot of mass awareness campaigns. We take workshops for the citizens. We network with various other NGOs and give the training for those NGOs how you can use this Right to Information Act to your own NGO causes and get the better system. These are all things we do in both the side, the training and awareness to the citizens and training and awareness to the public authority, and bring a type of a handshake between the public authority and the citizens for implementation of this act, which needs to have participation of both the community, the bureaucracy community, the government community, and the citizens also need to be there. That cannot be an anger between both the communities that things are not getting implemented. That is what we play the role of by the Mahiti Adhikar Manch team. And we network all over India. That means we network with the similar groups that are there all over India, like National Campaign for People's Right to Information. Of course, I am also a co-convener for National Campaigns for People's Right to Information. We have also formed a small group, Maharashtra Right to Information Council, where the only organizations that use right to information for the better system, that is one is there. So, and we take a lot of mass awareness campaigns in railway stations where the people who commute by the railway, nearly around 50 to 60% of the population uses railway as a means of transport. So that railway authority also, we network with them and we take campaigns in the railway stations giving awareness about the right to information and how they can use for the bettering these services. I don't feel any service in this country is good, but the services, nowhere the services can be termed as good. It will only be termed as it can be better and better and better. So the right to information is a tool where you can make services better to better to better to better.
That's really true. So, quick question over here. So, for the Mahiti Adhikar Manch, if anyone wants to become a member of this, is he has to be an RT activist, or is it more like any regular citizen who is interested in RTI can become a member and learn about it? How exactly it works?
Here, Mahiti Adhikar Manch works on the basis of that the moment he can come to our meetings twice, thrice, he can listen to it, but you cannot just go on suggesting. There is a definite role in Mahiti Adhikar Manch. The moment you suggest, that means that suggestion is very much important to you. So that same person has to do the work for those suggestions. We are only catalysts. We only help him how to go about it. But we cannot take his issues, because in a whole of the Mahiti Adhikar Manch team, every person takes their own role. We are a group. We come together, we discuss, and if somebody is stuck up in between, like he is not able to go ahead, then we all churn out and take out some solution towards that. If somebody is stonewalled by not replying or not giving, then we make some plan of action. But he has to do his role. He has to make his own effort to get his suggestion onto the platform, create an opinion, and all this matter he has to do. Mahiti Adhikar Manch does not take on its own the issues of other. Mahiti Adhikar Manch, the role is only to give maximum awareness of the right to information, to give awareness to the public authority how to implement this act. If somebody is not at all doing any work, then to do some type of an effort or an opinion creation on that issue so that the matter moves ahead. But it does not take anybody's issues for solving the problem. So he has to, and there is nothing as a membership basis. It's a voluntary-based organization. You have to come, volunteer, and go ahead. That's it.
And in how many states this Mahiti Adhikar Manch is active?
See, basically, Mahiti Adhikar Manch believes maximum in network. It does not wish that all of them should be member of Mahiti Adhikar Manch and then go ahead. So because it's impossible for any one organization to cater to such a large country. So basic idea is that we network with the various organizations. We play a catalyst role in giving the information, taking the information, giving the detail about what things are happening all over India through our networking group. Then the idea is basically to network. We are based in Mumbai, and in Mumbai we make a very lot of efforts. We take various issues that are concerned to the government, and we feel that something needs to be done, then we mobilize for it. We don't have any branches all over India. We only network with the various organizations that fight for the right to information and implementation of it and usage of it. That is what the basic idea is. So networking and gain. Network and gain, that is the basic idea of Mahiti Adhikar Manch.
Friends, NRI Samay is a non-profit independent alternate media from Los Angeles, USA, which brings positive stories from grassroots activists from all corners of India and across the world. NRI Samay does not rely on corporate funding, and our shows are commercial free. We only rely on your donations. Corporate funded media is driven by the TRP rating, and profits are blurring the distinction between news and entertainment. Why do our news channels talk so much about cricket, movies, accidents, popular figures' personal lives, babies of heroines, gossips, etc., while they should be covering the struggles of people, inequality in our society, rural issues, and border security issues? Why did our media raise some corruption crusaders to the sky on one day and shut them off completely when graft charges were raised on those corporate sponsors? Media relies so much on the corporate funding and government blessings that they cannot report independently. NRI Samay is different. We don't accept funds from any corporations, and hence our shows are commercial free. We completely rely on donations from you. Please consider donating to NRI Samay, and please go to nrisamay.com and donate generously. This is the only way together that we can continue NRI Samay. All donations are kept transparent on nrisamay.com. And if you have any questions, please write to nrisamay@gmail.com.
Oh, okay. So if, you have been an RTA activist for almost a decade, so based on your experience, if I have to ask you, what are the, general government offices, to put it in this way, which office, through which offices people got more information using the RTAs? what are the areas where people got more information or more help or more advantage using this RTA? Like what are
basically under the right to information, every person has his own type of seeking information. One is that if one person gets into stuck up for not getting his service, then he comes and asks about how to use the right to information for his own matter. Some of the NGOs who would like to better their service providing capacity by getting the services to be given by the government, then he uses the right to information. The other portion is that if there is various senior citizens or retired community from the government offices also, they don't get their pensions, provident fund and all this matter, then he uses the right to information. If you see, the right to information is used for personal and also for the public interest causes. We campaign largely for the public, how the right to information can be used for the public usage causes. And the other is that in most of the places, there are various municipal corporations and the municipal councils that are there in all over India. And generally, the 75% of the lifestyle is affected by these corporations and municipal councils. So the maximum number of applications are there in these type of public authorities, whereby, say for example, municipal corporation, there is a problem of water, there is a problem of garbage pickup, then there is buildings construction issues are there, then there are slum issues are there. So the large number of applications are coming from these strata of the society and to the such type of public authority services. For example, if you take the consideration of Maharashtra, which was the key player in bringing this Right to Information Act and mobilization of it due to the various agitations that went on Maharashtra, Maharashtra receives nearly around more than 6 lakhs applications under RTI, and which is the highest in India, and nearly around, say, 25 to 30,000 applications, they go for a second appeal. That means nearly around, say, more than 80 to 85% applications are responded by the public authority. May be correct and may not be correct, but there is a response. Yes. The first response, because earlier, without Right to Information Act, no public authority was responding. They were not giving any reply to the complaints done, to the grievance that they address to. But today, the moment a person makes an application under RTI, he receives one reply, whether it is positive or negative, he receives one reply, and that one reply gives him a tinkle to his mind, stating that at least I am getting some reply so that I can follow it up. And that's where the lights up to the minds of the community, and they use the right to information. The maximum number of applications are where the building proposal department, like urban development department, like the slum policy implementation department, like the social services which are provided to the community by the government, those departments are the maximum RTI applications are filed on, and the people are getting some benefit out of it. But still, the attitude of the public authorities should change, because there is one clause called as Section 4 of in the Right to Information Act, where the public authority should give maximum information to the community, so that community need not go for making right to information, making applications under Right to Information Act. But this clause, Section 4, which is very much important in the Right to Information Act, which is considered to be the heart of the Right to Information Act, these public authorities are not implementing. They are still not giving the suo motu information that should be provided as per the Section 4 of the Right to Information Act. That is why there are a maximum number of RTI applications which are happening. But still, I would say these 6 lakh applications are very less. The people need to use much in a very filtered way to make hook the government for non-providing of the service or non-providing of the social service. Then this act actually will achieve the role that is applied under this Right to Information Act.
That is true. So if I have to ask you for you have been filing RTAs for a long time, and you know several people who have filed for it. So if I ask you for one good example to illustrate how this RTI will empower the citizen, or will bring the transparency, or will help him in getting his job done. If I can ask you one example, what example will you give? Like any personal example?
I will give a very small example, which is the most least. The people consider it to be the very least, but it is the most important. Say, for example, under the Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai, they are having their own properties, where some of the properties are given on 10, or some of the properties are given on right basis. One of the applicant who had purchased that property had to give a deposit of the security deposit as such for around 10,000 rupees security deposit. That does mean that, and that deposit is to be refunded after 5 years of continuous stay in that place. But after 5 years, when he went on asking for this deposit, the municipal corporation said that we don't have any proof of it, so we won't be able to give. But this person approached me. His name is Mr. Rai. Approached me, and we had advised him how to file an RTI application, and he made an RTI application. After making the RTI application, it was said that his files are missing. We further made an appeal. First appeal. After going for the first appeal also said that if the files are missing, how we can refund him the money. We went again to the second appeal with the final place, which is there is the Information Commissioner's place, and that Information Commissioner ordered, if the file is missing, you need to search it and you need to reconstitute that file, and as he has the proof that he has paid you the amount, that amount needs to be refunded, then that whatever the documentation is to be done, you need to do the search issues which is there. Though immediately after that order, the whole of the municipal corporation, the documents were searched and it was reconstituted, and that person got the refund of 10,000 rupees within a span of around, say, 6 months. Whereas he was fighting it for the nearly around more than 5 years. He didn't get this amount. But within 6 months, he got this amount. So this is the small amount. In the larger extents, you can just take the example of that Adarsh issue of Mumbai, which had happened where wrongly the tenements were allotted, and that whole Adarsh building was illegally occupied by the various bureaucracy who matter or who are powerful enough. But that also came out with just one RTI application, and the people got the information, and the whole scam was exposed. So I am telling, from the lowest strata of the society and the lowest amount which is to be received, that one person got this, and the highest scams which are there also have been exposed just because of this Right to Information Act, which is very much important, and people still are not able to grab what is the much importance of it, because the public authority themselves, who are supposed to give awareness of this Right to Information Act, who need to give awareness for this, what are the benefits of this Right to Information Act, as per to Section 26, it is their responsibility. But they are not doing it, and they are just shouldering off their responsibility of giving awareness about this. That is why the role of the NGOs like us has a more importance role to at least give more awareness about this Right to Information Act and how we can empower. That is what it is. And this is what the empowerment is guaranteed under the Right to Information Act.
Okay. So I'm just trying to understand the example that you gave it to us. So it's more like at the time the papers were missing, or the entire files were missing. So it was, as a second appellant, it went to CIC, and CIC ordered the government to reconstitute all the files.
Yes.
Then,
yes.
So it was the entire. So at the time, the files were reconstituted, so that he was given the 10,000 rupees deposit back, right?
Yes. Yes.
So it was
yes,
order from CIC,
correct.
basically. So CIC ordered.
Yes, it was an order from CIC. It was an order from CIC to reconstitute this file by the public authority and do the search, diligent search. There is a system of diligent search in the public authority. That means they send all the letters to all the departments. They get the reply that this file is not available here. Then they reconstitute it. And if they don't reconstitute it, Nowadays, the CIC is also ordering that if the file is not missing, then please file an FIR. So all these things are slowly happening and slowly graduating of the much more better way of the administration is coming out. So because of that, this Right to Information Act, he got that 10,000 rupees. Otherwise, he was going to the office to get this refund for nearly more than 5 years. But he got the refund after making use of the Right to Information.
Friends, NRI Samay is a non-profit independent alternate media from Los Angeles, USA, which brings positive stories from grassroots activists from all corners of India and across the world. If you have any interesting episode you would like NRI Samay to cover, we will be happy to do so. NRI Samay would also like to encourage amateur journalists who have a flair for highlighting current events. You can be part of our citizen journalist team. You could cover an important event, interview victims of an atrocity, or document an inspirational story. The idea is to have a mix of experience throughout all parts of the world, preferably supported by an audio or a video clip of your story to be aired, which will be the curtain raiser. You can also submit your opinion articles on important topics to NRI Samay. We will be happy to put it on nrisamay.com in the opinion section. All your work will be credited only to you. And if you're interested, please send an email to nrisamay@gmail.com.
That is true. So, by looking at the RTI Act that we have, is this good enough, or do you think that we need more amendments to make it more powerful?
No, there are few much more. It needs to be made more powerful because there are some gray areas whereby it's very difficult to give decisions in a very open way. That even say for example, there is one clause whereby the information which pertains to life and liberty of a person, the information should be given within 48 hours. Now this clause is not at all given importance by the public authority. So there should be an accountability on the PIO and the administration when when such very important issues are not taken into consideration. There should be an auto penalty on the officers who do this. The other is that the norms of the information commissions are also not done. Many of the commissions are coming into the second appeal. They are making it. Many of the states, the hearing is not coming for more than 2 to 3 years, which is literally deplorable. Whereas in some commissions, you will find, like in Maharashtra, one of the information commissioners, the present chief information commissioner, Mr. Ratnagar Gaikwad, is taking hearing within 30 to 60 days. Whereas many other states' information commissioners are even not taking hearing for more when even the application is done, which is pending for more than 2 to 3 years. So if there should be some criteria where they should have their norms of information commission, time-bound delivery of the clearance of the appeals, it needs to be there. The appointment of the information commissioners should be in true and spirit and intent of this Right to Information Act. Then only the things will happen. It is just making amendments will be of no use. More than amendments, whatever is there in the Right to Information Act, it needs to be implemented, and that needs to be pressured upon by any government that comes into power, and also there should be pressure from the community stating that this needs to be implemented first, and then the amendment thoughts can be given. At present, I still feel there should not be any much more importance given to the amendment, but accountability and bringing lot of public authorities and also the private organizations which are giving public services. Those needs to be brought under the Right to Information Act, like public-private partnerships, which many of the public-private partnerships are still escaping themselves by going to the court and getting a stay and all this matter. The other is that more than amendments, the courts need to take a very proper view on implementation of the Right to Information Act, which is not done. They are giving very casual decisions. The moment anybody comes to the court, they immediately give a stay, and that matter lingers on for a long time. So that needs not be. More than amendment, I still feel that implementation as it is, what is there and at present under the Right to Information, that is very much more important than thinking about any amendment.
Okay, so actually you are just mentioning that any right to information regarding life and liberty has to be given in 48 hours. So how do we define
Yes,
life and liberty over here? What exactly you mean by that?
see, the clause, the life and liberty of an issue means, say, for example, if there is any, if some person is admitted to the public hospital, and there he wants a very life-saving drug to be given, and if the hospital says that there is no stock of it or there is no, then if a person goes under the Right to Information Act, then he has to be provided pertaining to that medicine within 48 hours, so that there is an accountability. The other issue is that, say, for example, if some person has been issued a death sentence, and some information which will be vital for his life can be saved by it, then within 48 hours that should be given. But it depends on the various. So, for example, we had done one application around in 2006, in 2006-7, stating for the Mumbai potholes. Like there are various in the rainy season, there are so many potholes which are there, which happen in Mumbai, and while traveling or by going by a scooter or by walking, you may be affected with those potholes, and you may have a very strong injury which will affect your life. So if that information is to be provided, that needs to be provided within 48 hours. That is what, and this we had argued, and we got the positive decision also from the Information Commission.
Okay. So how do we define liberty over here? Like
liberty in the sense, say, I gave you the example of the if literally objects to your liberty, if I am jailed, if I am put into the prison, and if somebody comes to know that person has been prisoned without any reason, that's the basic liberty issue that the public authority or the jail officials need to give that information within 48 hours.
Oh.
But this doesn't happen. This doesn't happen. This is what is very much required. There is also the human rights community need to use this if a person's rights are pressured by the. So all things are taken into consideration under this Right to Information Act. There is one more which is very strong clause, is right to inspection. You can inspect the public authorities, which is least used in this country. And I have used it in various places for doing a social audit of by the clause of inspection. By taking the work orders, we have done the social audit by the community. We have brought the things into the books, and we have penalized the contractors, and also there has been punishments given to the officers who were negligible by doing the for the work done by the private agency or the public authority.
How do you file
this can be done.
How do you file for this right to inspect for these social audits? Is it through the same RTA procedure, or it is something
Yes,
different?
perfectly. The thing is that there are two clauses which are important, which I said. The Section 4, and in Section 2H it is written the right to information means right to inspect also.
Okay.
The Section 4 says that all the information that needs to be provided on summative basis need to be disseminated by way of in the newspapers, by way of internet, by way of all. There are various things given by way of print, by way of electronic media, and also means inspection of offices. That means it has a full right. The citizen have a full right to inspect the public authorities' work. Citizens have full right to inspect the offices. Citizens have full right to inspect the documents and take whatever they want from the document. So on that clause basis, we are doing inspection of the public authority works which are done on roads, on gardens, on the water issues and all this matter. You can either go by Right to Information Act, or you can demand the information through which is there under the Section 4. If you want to get the works done, then you have to take the work orders and purchase order copies and get it done and do Jan Sunwais, which we are doing. Generally, Jan Sunwais are happening in the rural area, but in urban area it is still not a practice. But in Mumbai we are starting from the next month the Jan Sunwai of the social audits done, and we will be telling to the community, see, this is the way the work should have been done, but this is the way it is done. What is to be done is to be decided by the community.
For the better understanding of our audience, so can you actually give one example on how the social audit usually does? With
See,
one example.
In Mumbai, so the one of the place was there where I stay nearby is on Dr. Ambedkar Road. There was a beautification by the garden department of the Dr. Ambedkar Road. Then when the whole work was done, I just saw some of the grass beds which were laid around the tree, and I thought that this area being middle and low middle class area, I thought these grass beds will be of no use because this will be spoiled by the local bootleggers or all this, and it is a waste of money. Then slowly I inquired under the Right to Information Act by taking the work orders. What is the beautification amount spent on it? It was a very small. I generally take small issues to make a success stories and tell to the community. So I believe the social audit needs to be done by the local community themselves and not to go to other areas and do it. So that by having that concept, I took out the details under the Right to Information Act because they did not provide me immediately the work orders of it or purchase orders details of it. I went under the Right to Information Act and I took all the details of the purchase orders and work orders and the norms that were laid for beautification of this Dr. Ambedkar Road in Dadar, which is in Dadar East. So I took some of our friends and we did exactly point-wise work which was to be done by the appointed agency as per to the terms of the purchase order. We just checked it. We took out all the details. We saw whether the number of tree guards which are supposed to be installed, whether they were installed or not. Then we counted whether the number of tree guards that were installed or not. We even took the sample of the soil that was to be put around the trees and then also the grass beds, and we saw even measured the total number of square foot of the grass beds that were installed on the Dr. Ambedkar Road, Dadar East. Then we jotted down all these matters and gave our fact-finding report to the public authority and said that this is what we have found and this is what you have paid. Kindly inform us or we would like to have a joint inspection. Then we had a joint inspection with the public authority, and they also saw that many things which were not done. And then just to give a small example, the tree guards which cost rupees 1,000 as per to the Indian currency, there were nearly 167 tree guards which were to be installed. We found that not a single tree guard was installed, and 1,67,000 rupees, Indian rupees, was siphoned off by the contractor. The total work cost was rupees 8 lakh as per to the Indian currency. Nearly around 30% of that amount was not at all used, and the contractor siphoned it off. We understood and we gave, this is an understanding of correct practice between the public authority and the public authority officers and the contractor. Later on, that contractor was penalized. He was made to install those recalls, and whatever he did not install, the amount was taken back from him, and this is how the accountability can be brought by the social audit system with the involvement of the citizens over there. So here we have formed small groups called as Social Audit Local Team, which is done as per to the corporator ward. Every one corporator area is around 2.5 square kilometers. So we have formed small groups all over Mumbai. At present, there are 15 small groups working in their local area and bringing this accountability system and doing this audit system. We are now doing a social audit of the heritage garden called as Joshi Garden, which is famously called as Spy Garden in Mumbai, which is one of the Class 1 heritage garden given by Heritage Committee of Mumbai. So we are doing that social audit now, which is bringing a better results and better participation and better understanding of the public authority that the citizens are meaning business with the amount spent on them.
This is really an incredible example. And, we really appreciate for providing so much information, either it be right to inspection, social audits, or Section 4 of RTI, or talking about giving information in 48 hours if it relates to life and liberty. I mean, we really learned so many new things today. Thanks a lot for all your time. And we, before actually I close, I just wanted to take your final comments. So do you have any message for our listeners who are interested in RTI?
Like the best is that the best is that people should understand that they have to do for themselves. People should understand they cannot just tell others to do, and which is the maximum. I do not know about any other country. At least in India, we expect others to do something which is totally wrong. Even today's movement, it is most of the thing that there is a new political group which is coming and the people have come out of it. But still, there is an expectation that it should be done by the group that we have formed. No, it cannot be. You have to do to your capacity, to your nearby area. Don't do too much, but do to your area. As you do walking for your blood pressure, you do walking for diabetes, you do walking for everything. You do much more for the self. But within that, for that same time, if you provide for your nearby area, this country will be the best governed country, and the citizens will have ownership of that, of the services that they are taking, and then the governance will be much better than what the citizens think. This is my message.
Thanks a lot for all your time and joining with us on this weekend and explaining us about how the intricacies of RTI, how this Mahiti Adhikar Manch works. And we really learned a lot, and we salute all your efforts and Mahiti Adhikar Manch efforts in this RTA and bringing transparency and accountability in the system. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Friends, if you liked today's show, please go to youtube.com/NRI Samay and click on the subscribe button. You will get notified every time we publish a new show. And you can also like us on our social media sites like Facebook, Twitter, and Google+.